We've come a long way from where we started. Make it stick. Episode 60, I believe. Here we go. Anki, what are the 8 sections of chapter 3 makes up your practice? We already got this. We know this. The myth of mass practice. Spaced practice. Interleaved practice. Varied practice. Developing discrimination skills. Improving complex mastery for medical students. These principles are broadly applicable. The takeaway. Good. What is chapter 4 embrace difficulties about in one sentence? Desirable difficulties, which are testing and retrieval, space practice, interleave practice, varied practice, generation, and some contextual / fluency impediments or interferences. What did I actually put down for that word so that I can update this flashcard? Interruptions. These desirable difficulties lead to deeper learning through enhanced cognitive effort or increased cognitive effort. So correct, are learning techniques that lead to short-term impediments to progress, but deeper, longer lasting learning and more learning transfer. Okay, edit. Interferences to interruptions. Interruptions due to increased cognitive, due largely, so it's thought, to increase cognitive efforts. All right. What are the 5 sections of chapter 5 avoid illusions of knowing? Well, the 2 systems of knowing, the 2 systems of thinking, right? That's all I know. The 2 systems of knowing, illusions and memory distortions. Mental models, unskilled and unaware of it, tools and habits for calibrating your judgment. What does chapter 4 embrace difficulties about in one sentence? Desirable difficulties, we're not going to list them again, but we know what they are. Desirable difficulties lead to short-term impediments to learning, but long-term better learning, longer lasting knowledge, like longer retention and more learning transfer largely due to increased cognitive effort. Good. What are the 5 sections of chapter 5 avoid illusions knowing? The 2 systems of knowing, illusions of memory, mental models, unskilled and unaware of it, something about tools to calibrate judgment. The 2 systems of knowing, illusions and memory distortions, mental models, unskilled and unaware of it, tools and habits for calibrating your judgment. Okay, what are the 5 sections of chapter 5 avoid illusions knowing? The 2 systems of knowing, illusions and memory distortions, mental models, unskilled and unaware of it, tools and habits for calibrating your judgment. Cool. There we are, guys. There we are. Now we can finally jump into the beginning of chapter 5 reading. Oh, that's huge. Enormous. I can't believe I've made it this far. It's a beautiful thing. And on that note, I'm going to begin the story. We'll spin a story every time, a little story of a new character, real life character, about how concepts of this chapter are going to relate in the story. So I'll be back in a bit. All right, guys, we just completed reading this introduction to chapter 5, Avoid Illusions of Knowing. So this chapter really seems to be all about judgment and competence in general. So what did I read about? Metacognition. This is thinking about thinking. Meta comes from Greek, meaning about. So thinking about thinking, that's metacognition. Meta learning is learning about learning. So pretty cool. I like meta things. Always cool. Make a course on investing and investing. Meta investing. It's pretty cool. Anyway. The story was about, I think his name is David Garman, a police officer. These people in 2008 were continuously ordering tons of like big fast food orders, and these people were ordering huge fast food orders and then robbing the people, but they continuously ordered like to the same address and the same 2 cell phones. So eventually the cops caught on and basically got them. But yeah, the poor judgment was supposed to be about the robbers that were using the same cell phone and using the same locations over and over again. But yeah, kind of crazy that they just described this police officer as using didn't describe him as using poor judgment, when he literally had he just went in dressed up as the delivery officer or delivery driver, brought the food up, had a gun in the food bag at the bottom, and then when the guy pulled the gun on him, he just shot him. So, I mean, that's risky. I feel like if you shoot the guy, there's still a chance that the guy that got shot pulls the trigger on your head. Like, that's where the gun was, on the police officer's head. So I don't know if that was great judgment. I think what would have been better judgment was to go in, give all the food, give all the money, and then just, I don't know, track him down. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he was one of the only options. Who knows? But yeah, poor judgment can be fatal. A disadvantage of developing competence in general. And so I think this chapter is all about developing better judgment, but also developing better competence in general, which judgment is needed to develop better competence. One disadvantage that we have for judgment is basically that the less competent we are, the more we overestimate our competence. Is going to be probably talking about this in the chapter, Dunning-Kruger. Another disadvantage is that we tell these stories and make up these stories about how the world works, that aren't objective reality. We just rationalize how the world works through these stories. And then, well, how do we develop better judgment and competence in general? Both, because they're very interrelated. First, we need to be able to recognize competence in other people. 2, we need to become better judges of what we actually know and what we do not know. 3 is to basically adopt learning techniques that work. This dog is bitching and howling. It's pretty annoying. I tell you, I'm getting annoyed with people outside of my apartment now. I just want to study in peace. I don't want to be interrupted all the damn time. Okay. The 4th thing for developing better competence is finding ways to objectively measure progress, okay? So what is this intro about? The importance of developing good judgment or better judgment and the relationship between judgment and competence. Got like a splinter or something in my hand. Yeah, I was pulling weeds yesterday, so that could make sense. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for today, guys. Tomorrow we'll get into the section about the two systems of knowing. Just gonna go ahead and write what is this section about. All right, that's it for today. Talk to you guys later. See ya.